What's up? You checking out the Frequent Flyer, and I'm out here with the Helifar X140 for a quick test flight. This isn't my first flight, so it's not the maiden flight. I have been tuning this thing and checking it out a little bit, and so I just wanted to bring you guys in on this test flight here and talk about it a little bit. It has these props on it, and they look ridiculously pitched, as you can see there. I think somebody even said that these were maybe 72 pitched props, but I actually looked them up and they seem to be the Racecraft 3041 props, even though they look like this. Or they're at least a clone of them, maybe. So probably more than likely just 3041. And they're not too bad, but I don't think that they're as efficient as a three-bladed prop. Like, well, I did do some research on this prop here, and I did see a comparison that somebody did with this and the Rotor X tri-blade and another one. I can't remember the other one, but you know, the Rotor X was the best one aside from this one. This one seemed to be a little better than the Rotor X prop overall, but I would imagine that the Gem Fan Flash, I think it's the 3052. I think those are the best tri-blades, the best props for these this size of a quad here, these 3-inch quads. But supposedly these aren't that bad, and they seem like they have a pretty nice punch, but it seems like when you hit high throttle, it kind of vibrates. I can hear it vibrating a little, so maybe not that efficient in the high end, but really nice in the low end. Seems really punchy. It responds really quick. So enough talking, let's take off with this thing so you guys can check it out.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Just a quick line of sight.
Warning.
It is FR Sky, so I didn't have to hook anything up, but I did have to set up the rates and do a little tuning. Okay, I don't know why the heck it's... Oh, this thing is very sensitive to how close you hold it to yourself. It won't connect to the Tyrannus if you have it too close. Check it out. It only has that dipole antenna there, but you can screw in a better one. So we're gonna have to check that out in the FPV footage too, out on the field. See how well this antenna performs with the FPV feed, and swap it out, of course. This is an 850 milliamp hour 4S battery. Let's check a punch. So pretty decent punch out. Let's look at it again. Let's bring them back. It's been a pretty wet morning and all. Still drizzling right now. But check out the low end, how punchy it is. But when you get to the high end, I can hear it vibrate. Let's see if we can hear it. Really punchy though, as you can see that. This thing flies really high on a small punch out. Check it again. And we got all the way up there. We're not going to get too crazy with this line of sight because of where we are and the size of this thing. Check it out. Pretty nice tune on it, so you can get a pretty decent tune on it with these props. And once you get a good tune, the punch out is really good like this. These props are probably harder to tune than the 3-bladed Gem Fan Flash. 30, 52 props. You can see when I stop and do those turns like that, you don't hear not too much prop wash or anything. I tuned it all out. So I'll show you guys my pigs and all once I get it back out to the field and it's not such a wet day like today. And I did have a problem with my FPV monitor. It died, my eScene monitor. And so I've been using the VRD2s with the DVR built in. It's not as good as the eScene monitor, but I do have a patch antenna, a Pagoda 3-way patch, running it with an Amway. The Amway is a clover leaf, and that seems like a pretty good combination for everything else. And so I'm expecting this to have a good FPV feed as well. Bring this guy back. Birds always seem to dive out at this thing, and then when they get close enough to realize that it's not anything for them to eat, and then they just fly by. So we're not going to test flight time or anything like that. Just wanted to show you guys that this thing is tuned out pretty well. Give you guys an idea of the low end punch, talk about it a little bit, and see how nice the full punch out is. Check it again. And these motors here are not the same motors that are in the XJB 145. This has larger motors and a higher kV. Everyone else was reporting that these motors were a 3600 kV. Mine definitely says 3800 kV, and this is a 1408 motor. So the XJB has a 1407 motor. I think this is the same size motor as the Sparrow. I don't have the Sparrow, but I have the Sparrows. I have the Gep RC Sparrow motors, and they're 1408. Just like these, but those motors, the Gep RC motors, are 4100 kV, and these are 3800 kV. But pretty punchy motors though, pretty powerful. And that might explain why NDRC was getting similar performance out of this one to the XJB 145, because this is a little heavier, but the XJB is a little lighter, and he was wondering how it was getting the same performance with the same motors. But these motors are indeed a larger motor. Let me show you guys the yaw that I have on it. Pretty high yaw. But let's bring it in. So that's it. A quick demo flight of the racecraft props that are on here. These are 30, 41 props. If they're real, they might not be genuine. You guys know how Ferry Bee do sometimes. Sometimes they clone. But this is the Helifar X140. Thanks for watching.